كيفك بلال?
Alhamdulillah. كيفك انت?
How was your experience in Palestine?
I flew into Ben Gurion airport, and the minute they saw my name, they had me sit to the side, me and my sister. Of course, they took me into the interrogation room, scared me a little bit.
How's the knafa there?
Oh man, the knafa over there, wallahi, unbeatable.
You spoke about October 7th. What did October 7th do to Bilal in the US?
When I first started recording these videos, one of the guys asked me, the IDF soldiers, he goes, "What's your name?" And I'm good on the spot, improv acting. So I said, Dalton Jameri. Dalton Jameri? It gave me a second. I was like, yeah, the 4th junior. People ask how I keep my composure. My pride and my anger comes out when I say, "Ana Ghazawi." I got offered a nice amount of money to do a couple photo shoots.
Okay.
And with that being said, the part of the contract was if I'm vocal about Palestine, I will have to repay that amount of money, and they will cut my contract.
Even saying Ana Ghazawi would be
Exactly.
an issue.
You know, that's what they were telling me. They're like, Bilal, you're not selling your soul. You're just rebranding. You can't keep the Ghazawi forever. But that is my identity.
كيفك بلال?
Alhamdulillah. كيفك انت?
Welcome to Montreal.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for coming in a snowstorm.
Wallahi, it's a pleasure to be here first and foremost. Haven't seen the snow like this, so great experience.
You've got the best stories, by the way. I saw something about like at maybe 9 or 10 a.m. You're seeing a bit of snow. You're like, this is not a snowstorm. So
yeah, I was expecting a blizzard. I was expecting, something wild. So I saw it. It looked like styrofoam falling.
But then after that, it got a bit crazy.
Yeah, it got crazy.
Okay.
And then I realized why people wear boots here, because the snow is very deep.
You also didn't know that we spoke French here?
No, I didn't.
No, seriously.
No, I had no clue. I got off the airplane and I started seeing signs in French. And then, everyone was just talking in French.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Oui. French fry.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So tell us, if you could tell your story, who is Bilal?
Bilal is a Palestinian American, aspiring actor, activist, and overall just somebody who wants to spread the message and open this door that's closed to the Western media. Open this door, use our social media platforms, and just to expand what's going on around the world, what people aren't seeing. It's before we had it on a smaller scale before October 7th. People weren't really posting about it. These videos weren't coming out. After October 7th, the world is seeing these videos. The world is waking up. That's what I mean by expanding, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you're using social media now to basically expose what's happening, stories that maybe me and you knew in the past.
Correct.
But now that everybody's seeing it, you're helping promote it, basically, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you spoke about October 7th. What did October 7th do to Bilal in the US?
At first I felt proud for my people. We were happy, but then again, that turned into rage after seeing those images coming out. So it just put me in a spot where I felt the need to do this. I felt as a Palestinian, I have to do this. I have to be the voice for the voiceless. So if anything, it just empowered me, just had me, locked in, had me focus on spreading the message. I've always been doing it before October 7th, of course, as a Palestinian, but this made me just want to all gas, no brakes,
So let's backtrack a bit. Prior to October 7th, how was Bilal as a Palestinian? How did you relate to that cause? Did you guys speak Arabic at home? What did you guys eat? How did you interact with that nationality?
Born and raised in a Palestinian American household, alhamdulillah, my parents kept us, close to the deen. They kept us close to everything, the language, the culture. So I speak Arabic, for the ones born in the bled, my Arabic's not the best, but for someone born in the States, alhamdulillah, بكلم عربي منيح, بفهم, I know my deen. Of course, my favorite food is wara anab, so everything about the culture, alhamdulillah, I was raised with it.
Mm-hmm. And, did you ever go to Palestine?
I did once in 2020.
2020. So if you don't mind me asking, where do you come from in Palestine?
In Palestine, from Shaja'iyya in Gaza.
Oh, wallah. So you actually went to Gaza. And
I didn't get to go to Gaza, unfortunately,
know.
but I was able to go to the West Bank,
Okay,
Jerusalem.
because I had a girl called Rima Abu Draz here, and she had like on social media Bint Gaza, and she was telling me how difficult it's actually to go from Canada to Egypt, then cross the desert, and then get to Gaza. Yeah, and it's really difficult. Wow. How was your experience in Palestine?
I flew into Ben Gurion Airport. And the minute they saw my name, they had me sit to the side, me and my sister. Of course, they took me into the interrogation room, scared me a little bit.
What do you mean by scare you?
Basically, they went through my phone. They were able to bring up some WhatsApp messages that were already deleted.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they ended up asking me the same question in different ways. This way my answer would change. They scared me by telling me they're going to take me and my sister to Israeli prison until they send us back home. So I was shook. I wasn't expecting that. That went on for 2 hours, cursing, in Arabic, and it shook me. It shook me, but of course, after that, they gave us our visas for longer than we even asked for. And as happy as I was to be there, subhanAllah, I felt guilty when I went to Al-Aqsa. There's Palestinians who were born and raised there who haven't had the ability. And here I am coming from America and I can just walk in. It was such a beautiful experience, but it was also, it's upsetting going through the checkpoints and seeing how I can just go through and they have to wait. They're being harassed. But seeing the people, wallahi, the hospitality, the hospitality is like no other. My father had somebody come pick us up, and this man took us to his home, had us sleep over, fed us, made sure he showed us all of Palestine, and it was just a memory that I would never forget.
Okay, that's very interesting. You interacted with the Palestinians from 1948, or
Correct.
from the Palestinians from the West Bank, or both?
Both.
Okay.
A little bit of
and
both.
Did you, considering I'm Lebanese, I'm from the South, so I've never interacted with people from Palestine, inside of Palestine. Do you notice what the difference between both of them?
No, honestly, I didn't.
Wallah.
They all just follow. In Palestine, I didn't notice a difference. I'm sure if you look at their Hawiyya, you might see the difference.
Okay.
But for me, for somebody who was visiting, I couldn't notice anything.
How's the knafa there?
Oh man, the knafa over there, wallahi, unbeatable. Once you go to Palestine, everything it can't compare. The shawarma, the knafa, and the hospitality, man. I'm telling you, that part, wallahi, made me tear up when I was leaving. Such kind people.
Now, you visited Palestine. As a Palestinian in the U.S., you spoke about how it is in your home, what you guys eat, wara'inab, shawarma, the language you speak, deen, mashallah. Outside of home, how is it your interaction with the Arab community? How's your interaction with other communities, including Jewish communities?
There's one thing that I always tell people: Zionists and Jews are different type of people. The Jews aren't bad, but the Zionists are evil. So, I'm open. I'm connected with all communities. Alhamdulillah, I have friends from all races, all religions, people I interact with on a daily basis, whether that be in person, whether that's on social media. Everyone from all races, all religions.
Okay, and did you feel like you were a Palestinian or an Arab in America?
I always, alhamdulillah, the way I was raised, and being a Palestinian, you hold a special kind of pride. The more our people are oppressed, the more we hold pride to being a Palestinian in America. So definitely, alhamdulillah, and with the way I was raised, I always felt like a Palestinian American, not an American Palestinian.
Can you tell us, can you bring us or get us a close-up of what it is to be the son of a Palestinian woman and a Palestinian man? What are the stories that they tell you at home?
As a product of an immigrant, how I say it, it's just seeing our parents' journeys, hearing their stories. My parents, they had to they fled to Kuwait. So hearing their stories, getting there and then coming to America, it gives me no reason to not be successful. If our parents can come with all these stories, all these struggles. Like my father started from the bottom as a busboy. MashaAllah, now he's a businessman. And we see that a lot in the community, alhamdulillah. Not just with the Arabs, with our Pakistani brothers. And, alhamdulillah, we have that. As products of immigrants, as I like to say, it's something that we hold, we're very proud of our parents for what they've accomplished, and bringing us up this way. So, alhamdulillah.
That's great. So you grew up in that environment, and October 7th happened. You said that you're happy first, then and all those bloody images, that genocide that was ongoing, shook you.
Correct.
Like, how did you feel, and what did you feel like you wanted to do?
I've always been, what I do, poetry, skits, music, and I've always incorporated Palestine into my content. But after October 7th, it made me, I just wouldn't stop posting about Palestine. I kept thinking of ways how I can raise awareness without bringing the facts to the table in a funny way. And subhanallah, it all ended up coming natural. So after October 7th, it sparked something in me that I can't explain, wallahi, but subhanallah, I kept going with it, and here we are.
I went through your YouTube channel, and the first video that I found was you interviewing people on the streets with a broken arm. So first of all, what's the story about the broken arm? What happened?
So I took a cruise. September 19th was the first day of a 7-day cruise around Europe. We decided to stop in Koper, Slovenia for the first day, and one of the excursions was whitewater river rafting. This is something I'm going to be making a documentary about, but we'll share this story because, subhanAllah, it plays into my life. We were a group of 16. We came back a group of 15. One man lost his life.
Wow, okay.
Long story short, the night before, it rained. The river was about 50 miles an hour, and the river was higher than usual. 2 rafts, each one had 8 people. Long story short, we couldn't control. The rafts flipped over. 14 people managed to get to the side and grab onto something. 2 others went down, me and another gentleman. Alhamdulillah, I read my shahada, and in my head, I'm just telling myself, "اللي بيغرق بيستشهد," the one who drowns dies a martyr. And subhanallah, as fast as it was, everything was slow motion. I grabbed onto a tree branch. I hung on for 30 to 45 minutes, and with adrenaline, I couldn't feel what was going on. Once I was rescued, taken to the ambulance, turns out I broke the coracoid. I had dislocated the shoulder, and I tore my labrum. Another man didn't make it, unfortunately. He was 55 years old from Georgia. We didn't know him. He was just a part of the cruise. And I came back injured. And subhanAllah, this is something that I've always been working towards. And when is my time going to come? When is my time going to come? 2014 happened in Gaza. Okay, when is my time going to come? 2021 happened. When is my time going to come? And everyone always tells me, اللي عنده صبر ربنا بيعطيه حسنات. There's always a timing for everything. And subhanallah, I came back injured. I couldn't work. I didn't have my job. And this is something I've always been working towards. And subhanallah, Allah made me wait until October 7th, when in my lifetime, in your lifetime, this is the worst we've seen. So it's not a coincidence that I didn't die. It's not a coincidence that all of this came right after October 7th. Because subhanallah, I've been working towards this my whole life. So the fact that it came now and the way it came, I came back and I was upset. Why me? Why me? Subhanallah, if I wasn't injured, I would have went back to work. I wouldn't have had that time that I've always been looking for to make these videos. Within a couple of weeks, Dalton Jamari was born, and subhanallah, the world knew Ghazawi.
Before getting to Dalton Jamari, you started interviewing people on the street.
Yes.
And I started asking questions. What were you trying to do, basically?
A lot of people go and they do these interviews and they ask inappropriate questions, So for me, I wanted to take my platform and, like I said, use it for good. So I would go around, ask people, do you support Palestine? And the first time I did it, I didn't know if I was going to keep doing it. But wallahi, someone looked at me, the first guy, and he said, "What's Palestine?" I said, no, I got to keep doing this.
Okay.
Because every time I do it and the person doesn't know, after we turn the camera off, we sit there and we start talking to them. And some people actually, they open it like, wow. You could tell they walk away and they just notice something. You know what I mean? They just realize the truth. So asking people that, asking people if they know where Palestine is, and you'd be surprised people don't.
So can you tell us like interesting stories that maybe you didn't show, like people that surprised you, or maybe you actually showed on your YouTube channel? By the way, everybody go to his YouTube channel, B Fendi.
Appreciate that. If there's one that stands out the most, it would have to be, I asked a man if he supported Palestine or Israel, and he thought it was Israel versus Pakistan, and he thought Israel was Iran. I don't know how that works, and I still have the clip. I haven't released it because he was like, "Don't post it, don't post it."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay." But we educated him, and alhamdulillah, he learned. But honestly, that's the only one that stands out.
There's nothing aggressive sometimes when you opened up that subject?
You know, I got a lot of no's right away. I don't want to answer that. Or I've got a lot of... I've got a few people who would say I support Israel, but surprisingly and unfortunately, that was like 1 out of 5. A lot of people don't know, unless I'd walk up to an Arab and ask him without knowing he was Middle Eastern.
Also, what you're trying to say is that not a lot of people would know about Palestine.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Even after October 7th.
After October 7th, yes, but those videos were before October 7th.
Ah, okay.
Yes,
no,
yes.
So you broke your hand and you started doing this basically.
I started doing the videos at home.
Okay.
Some of the videos you're talking about were after October 7th.
Yeah,
correct.
because I remember seeing your hand was broken.
Some of those were after, and of course that changed. I would go ask people. It'd be someone who's African American, someone who's Hispanic, someone who's Asian, and of course everyone knew now. Everyone knew now.
So, October 7th was a game changer.
That's what
I'm trying to say. You saw the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
The world definitely, the social media is definitely waking up the world. You have people who didn't even know where Palestine was. You have people who didn't even know what was going on that are now in the streets chanting. You go to these protests and it's beautiful. You don't just see Arabs anymore. You see more, you see all races, all religions coming together. We have our Jewish brothers and sisters. So October 7th definitely woke the world up. It definitely made the world is furious.
And at the same time, Dalton Jamari was born.
Dalton Jamari was born.
Okay. So, first of all,
the 4th junior.
Sorry?
Dalton Jamari, the 4th junior.
The 4th junior?
Yes.
Tell us more.
Man, I got ADHD and growing up, I used to always make up names and words. And when I first started recording these videos, one of the guys asked me, the IDF soldiers, he goes, "What's your name?" And I'm good on the spot, improv acting. So I said, Dalton Jamari. Dalton Jamari? He gave me a second. I was like, yeah, the 4th junior. Okay. And then I posted, I was like, okay, Dalton Jamari. And I just kept going with it. And subhanAllah, nothing I've said was planned out. It was all on the spot.
Okay, so that the listeners know, obviously you're very famous. I think over 200K followers on Instagram and 300K on TikTok.
I wouldn't say famous, but alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Allah will wake it up.
Inshallah.
Making us proud. So, you started this on Instagram or TikTok?
I started posting these on TikTok.
Okay, you started posting on TikTok, and there's a platform called TikTok Live, right?
TikTok Live.
So you reach out. So how does it work, actually? I've never been on it.
This isn't from TikTok Live. There's an app called OME TV. OME TV. You go on there, and you could choose whatever country you want, and you connect with Israel.
Okay, so the first time you did it, you just did it for the fun of it?
Now, I've always been doing it, but after October 7th was the first time that I started recording it.
Okay, I see.
And what made me start recording it was, like I said, everything came natural. After I was trolling them, my anger, people ask how I keep my composure. My pride and my anger comes out when I say "Ana Ghazawi."
No.
That isn't an act. That comes out naturally, and I'll never forget the first time I did that, and it just came out naturally. Wallahi, the man's face turned white. It turned pale, as if he saw a dead. And it just, I had to. After that, I uploaded it, and I was like, oh God, I gotta keep doing this.
Okay, so you go on that app. You said it's
Yes,
named
OMETV.
OMTTV. You start recording,
Yes.
and you select I'm
Israel.
assuming Israel, and you basically go on there, and it selects IDF soldiers, or it's just
Now,
random.
it's just random people, but you know the IDF soldiers are very busy with their occupation marination, so they're sitting for all day, every day. So
Yeah.
majority of the people on there are the IDF soldiers.
Okay, I see.
Let me correct myself, the IOF soldiers.
I see.
But yeah, so it's just very easy to find them. They're just there all day.
Okay, so you go on there, and your first interaction that you recorded was with an iOS soldier?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
nice, interesting. So tell us more. You spoke with him, and he asked your name. You said
And
Dalton.
Dalton Jamari came up.
Okay.
And he was telling me, he was like, okay, nice to meet you. We're doing, we're in war right now in Gaza. And I was like, shred the nar Jahannam. And it randomly came out, and I was like, wait, I like that. Shred the nar in California, like shred the gnarly waves. But it works out because nar is fire. Shred the nar Jahannam. And subhanAllah, it just, I kept trolling them. And I told them that I was from Kentucky, Wisconsin.
And they would believe you.
They believe anything and everything you tell them.
Wallah.
So for me, what made me keep going was when I saw the reaction on one of their faces. Like I said, he turned pale when I said Ana Ghazawi.
Okay.
And all that emotion came out, and that just became my way of releasing all that emotion.
Okay. And do you recall when you started exactly? So October 7th happened. Do you know when you first recording?
I started recording for the first time, I want to say October 19th or 18th.
Okay. And when did you notice like that your content was getting serious traction?
Around November, I reached 10,000 followers, all organic. October 7th, I had 1,000 followers.
Okay.
And I ended up, by November, I ended up reaching 10,000. I would say by January
Okay.
was when my account was skyrocketing. 14,000 followers a day. The views were going up. So I want to say around there, right before Ramadan of last year.
Okay. And how did that change your life?
You know, wallahi, for once I was able to do what I love, which is make people laugh and smile. But also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to me in the best way, where I could also be a voice for my people. I could do something positive rather than making pranks or skits, you know what I mean? It changed my life in many, many ways. It gave me so many opportunities, and it opened so many doors for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closed the door for me with my job after my injury. And subhanallah, you know, it just opened so many doors. I was able to finally use my platforms for what I wanted. Raise some money, donate some money, raise awareness, but also make people laugh throughout these dark times. Because we need that. People need that with everything they see on social media. They need to see واحد أهبل, you know, joking around, trolling.
أنا ما بقول أهبل يعني, but I'm saying واحد بيضحك يعني.
بيضحك.
مهضوم.
Mahdoom. We'll go with that.
Okay. Okay. So in January, February, it starts getting traction. You're getting a lot of followers.
Correct.
Okay. And so I'm assuming your skit starts not working as much because people start recognizing who you are.
You know,
so how do you adapt?
It took about, you'd be surprised, there's so many of them on there. So it took literally until, you know, I would say after I was on Israeli news for the first time, that was in April. After then, it became hard. And then it became harder and harder. I have wigs, I put on glasses, I changed my tone, you know, my accent. I put on different clothing, you know.
Did you have the same name?
No, I changed my name.
Okay.
I even spent a couple thousand on a Hollywood face mask.
Okay.
We made Ammo Abdullah Johnson. That's a new character.
Okay.
You know, so working on that, trying to make something, you know, something crazy.
Okay. So you started adapting that way. Have you ever had like a serious, deep conversation with the Zionist or no?
I have.
Okay.
I have. This one was actually he wasn't in Israel. He wasn't in the IOF. He's an ex-Muslim named Yusuf, turned Zionist. And Yusuf is converting to Judaism. I talked to him for about 30 to 40 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
He's going to be enlisting in the IOF. He's going to be leaving London. And we sat, and I was trying to talk to this man. This is an ex-Muslim who was
Palestinian?
No, he was Pakistani, I believe. He was trying to justify running over a child with a tank. If a child is standing in front of a tank or throws a pebble at a tank, he or she loses their immunity. Therefore, by international law, they are required to run over that child or that elderly man. Okay. And I sat there, and I'm just trying to talk to this man because he's an ex-Muslim. Who knows? Maybe I could change his mind. I just want to get a better understanding, and just who knows? Maybe I could convince the man. So we sat and we spoke for about 45 minutes. The video went pretty viral. It's very, very unfortunate though.
And why do you think he became like that?
Honestly, I wish I had an answer for you. There's many reasons people do it, unfortunately, whether it's for money, whether it benefits them for a job, for their career, whatever it may be. But that's another reason why I sat and spoke with this man for 45 minutes. I want to understand it. I don't understand it. If it was an IOF soldier, I would have skipped, but this is an ex-Muslim. I just want to understand what changed your mind. What was? Do you get what I'm coming from? And it frustrates me. But you can't get anything out of them. They have a mindset that khalas.
Do you think it's a question of the survival of the fittest? They see that Israel is armed like the U.S., the empire. They just want to be with the strongest person or strongest entity?
No, because a lot of people don't know what's going on. They're fed what's going on in the West by the Western media, which is why after October 7th, people who thought Israel was in the right are now learning. So if anything, no, it worked in the other way.
Okay. I saw also another skit that you were doing, one talking to a khalto or amto. What was that about? Like, is it something new that you're trying, or it's just a coincidence that
they pop up, and you got to mix it up a little sometimes. So it just whatever comes out, man. Just they pop up, and I don't really think of anything. Everything's just natural improv, Shanari Gary, and people like to see it. People like a change. They want to see that.
Okay. I'm gonna read you something. Let me get it closer. My people are trapped in the dark with no electricity. My people are trapped in the light in captivity. Over 75 years of a Palestinian invincibility. But listen, they still call it a war. They call it a war of casualties. It's a total disregard of humanity when your reality becomes their fantasy. Now, what would you do if that was your family? I didn't know you were an artist and a poet.
I've been writing poetry ever since I was 12.
Wow. Okay. So tell us, why do you enjoy it? Why do you like it?
It was just a way for me to escape reality, cope with whatever I was going through in high school, middle school. And I'm epileptic, so it helped me cope with that, Alhamdulillah, I don't have the seizures, but at the time it was something that just helped me escape from reality. And the fact, again, that I was also able to express myself and raise awareness for Palestine through poetry was also something that just ignited it. And subhanAllah, like I said, everything I've done, I've always incorporated Palestine, but with poetry, it was just something I focused on. I didn't really write any love poems or anything like that, just poems about Palestine, conscious poems, about the life as a product of an immigrant.
Yeah. And tell me about your creative process. How does it work? You sit down, you write down how you feel, or it just comes out naturally?
As a lyricist, I just grab a pen and a paper and I could write. Nowadays, of course, it's on the phone. Whatever comes out. And always just my feelings. I can never write anything that I'm not feeling. So whatever I'm feeling in the moment, whatever I want to talk about, I have a thought in my head, I want to talk about this podcast, and it just comes out as a lyricist. I don't really have to think.
Do you consider yourself a poet or a rapper?
I consider myself a lyricist because poetry is rap. Rap, the word R-A-P, stands for rhythm and poetry.
Okay.
You take your lyrics and you could add a beat and you can rap it, or you can a cappella it as a poem.
I love that. I see the passion. It's
so
actually very nice.
I'm
it's
working,
beautiful.
Thank you.
The way you explain it is poetic.
It is. I've made a couple songs about Palestine, but I'm still working on my flow, so I don't want to release anything yet. But stay tuned for that.
Okay, good. And you're actually in Montreal in an event that you sponsored, I think. It's called Music Meets Movement.
Yes, I'm going to be hosting it, not sponsored.
Hosting it, sorry, yes. And so what are you guys trying to do? Who's coming?
So it's going to be me, Sami Shablak, Isa Maidi, Work Rates coming from London. He's another artist. The goal is to raise money to build water wells in northern Gaza, and also just bring the community together, which is why it's Music Meets Movement. Raise awareness, also express ourselves artistically, connect with our followers, but also for a great cause, raising money for these water wells.
Beautiful. And how come you guys chose Montreal first?
You know, Montreal, there's a good population, shawarma marination, of pro-Palestinians, and we got to hit every part. It's not fair to go to Toronto and not come to Montreal.
Okay, so you guys did Toronto before?
Not yet. Toronto's going to be on Monday, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. So you guys, Montreal, Toronto, and what next?
I'm going to be hitting, inshallah, bi'Iznillah wa ta'ala, Australia, and then Dubai. Got a couple big things lined up.
Nice. Because I saw on your stories, I think you went to Bahrain and Oman, right?
I went to just Bahrain.
Oh, Bahrain. Okay, so Bahrain, Oman. Please invite him. So, what did you do there?
They had a Unity kickoff charity football event, donation to raise money for children around the world. It was hosted by Della Promotions. Shout out to them. Also funded and hosted by the king himself. It was an amazing experience. First time in Bahrain, to be able to be a part of that charity game and play with legends such as Roberto Carlos.
You played with them?
Yes.
Nice.
Roberto Carlos was there. Stephen
How's
Perry.
your football, by the way? Is it okay?
Not good, but we tried. We tried.
When we say football, we mean soccer. But
I tried. I did my best.
Okay, continue.
It was a beautiful experience, being able to play with these soccer legends and being able to do it for a good cause, meet the king, meet the fans of Bahrain. Wallahi, it was an experience that I'll never forget.
How's the food there, by the way? Is it close to our food, or is it different a bit?
You know, honestly, I didn't have too much cultural food when I was out there, but the quality of food, the hospitality.
Yeah, they're known for that.
The hospitality is something, you know, it reminded me almost of Palestine. It didn't beat Palestine, but wallahi, the hospitality of Bahrain was something I've never experienced. That means more to me than the taste of food, than the quality of anything else, wallahi. But subhanallah, alhamdulillah, the quality of everything else there, nothing was out of place. Nothing was, you know, alhamdulillah. It was a great experience.
Wow. Okay. So can you tell us about what projects you're currently working on?
I'm working on a documentary. I can't say too much about that. I'm working on a couple fashion runways with Vogue Arabia, hoping to get those.
I saw that on Instagram.
Hoping to get those. Just pursuing my goals, which is being an actor.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Can you tell us a bit more about that? Like you said, when we started this, that you were an inspiring actor. What do you want to do exactly? What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping to change. You know, nowadays when they want a Middle Eastern, they want him to play a terrorist. They want him. I've gotten a lot of those, and I've gotten offered a lot of money for
Seriously?
those. Yeah.
Okay, how does it work, by the way? So did they contact you or your agent?
Usually they contact me personally.
Okay.
In this time, it was actually a Middle Eastern man that's bought by the industry.
Wow, okay.
He wanted me to play an ISIS commander. Yes. Of course, I gave him a nice little message, you know.
But the goal, I mean, they're like, they've got guts to actually come and ask you.
Of course. And they always send a Middle Eastern guy to, you know, make it easier. But of course, I will never sell out. And with that, you know, just...
Wait a sec. You mentioned something on your stories about not selling out. Was it that?
No, that was a different one.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, or it's not something
No, I don't mind. I got offered a nice amount of money to do a couple photo shoots.
Okay.
And with that being said, the part of the contract was if I'm vocal about Palestine, I will have to repay that amount of money, and they will cut my contract and pretty much, blacklist.
Okay, but what do they mean by being vocal for Palestine exactly?
Basically, they don't want you to, they'll give you what you want, they'll give you the brand deals, they'll give you the actings, whatever you want, but they don't want you to talk about Palestine.
خلاص يعني
خلاص.
don't mention it.
خلاص.
At
Don't
all.
mention Palestine.
Okay, so
And
even saying أنا غزاوي would be
exactly.
an issue.
They that's what they were telling me. They're like, Bilal, you're not selling your soul, you're just rebranding. You can't keep the Ghazawi forever. But that is my identity. I was before October 7th, I was born a Ghazawi, I will die a Ghazawi, and it's my identity. People see Palestine as a trend nowadays, and some people do use it as a trend, which infuriates me as a Ghazawi.
Okay, to finish up everything, what are you hoping for Palestine?
I want to see my people return. I want to see my people go home. I want to see them live their lives. I want to see them go to the beach, go to Al-Aqsa. The things that I was able to do that I felt so guilty of doing. I want to see the Palestinians have the rights. I want to see my people happy, living. I want to see my people rebuilding their homes on their land without checkpoints. And inshallah, biiznillah wa ta'ala, that will be possible.
Inshallah. Bilal, thank you for coming for the show.
Thank you for having me. Habibi. I appreciate it.